Hey, what's up, people? Pizzal here, and today I want to talk to you guys about 1991's Popcorn. And Popcorn is a movie that, up until recently, I had no idea what kind of fanfare that movie enjoyed. I had no idea just how many fans of popcorn there were out there. My social media feed blew up. Facebook and Twitter just the other day when Synapse Films announced that they were releasing a limited edition Blu-ray steelbook for Popcorn, chock full of all new extras, a brand new 2K restoration of the film, and people are just hyped over it. People have lost their minds about this Popcorn release. Now keep in mind, it was just the other day that not one but two companies, Arrow Video and Wilgo USA, announced that they were both releasing complete full Blu-ray box sets for the Phantasm series. Now everybody's like, what? Popcorn. Popcorn. We want popcorn. Popcorn has taken over social media. And I really found that I found it really strange, to be honest, at first, because now I've seen Popcorn. It's been many, 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 many years ago since I last seen Popcorn. I don't remember a darn thing about it other than the fact that I thought it was a pretty bad movie. I was not a big Popcorn fan. But all this fandom, all this hype for Popcorn really made me eager to want to go back and watch that movie. And I did. And it's an interesting film. Popcorn is definitely a very, very interesting film. It had an interesting production. Alan Ormsby, the original writer and director of Popcorn, and that name should sound familiar. He collaborated with Bob Clark on movies like Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, Death Dream, which is a great movie. If you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. He wrote Porky's 2. After 3 weeks of shooting, he was either fired or he just left the film and took with him the lead actress. I believe her name was Amy O'Neill. She was the sister in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He was replaced by Mark Harrier. Now that's interesting because Mark Harrier had been an actor up to this point, and he had been in all of the Porky's movies, including Porky's 2 that Alan Ormsby wrote. They also brought in Jill Schoelen to replace the lead actress. You guys know how I feel about Jill Schoelen if you're familiar with this channel. Love Jill Schoelen. If Jill Schoelen's in a movie, I'll watch it. I think she's one of the most underrated and unsung scream queens of the 80s and early 90s. And now Popcorn it's really a mixed bag for me. It's a mixed bag of popcorn. There's some nice, tasty, juicy, buttery, salty kernels in there. And then there's just some of those hard, just didn't quite fully pop kernels of popcorn down in that bag. And then just some really stale kernels, like you went to the matinee and you got, last night's leftovers. First off, what I like about Popcorn is I like the basic premise of the movie, the basic plot of the movie, which involves a group of film students. They've rented out this old theater to do a horror movie marathon, a very William Castle-ish horror movie marathon. They screen movies like Mosquito, and during the film, they fly out a large mosquito over the audience. They play a movie where a guy gets electrocuted in the electric chair. He comes back with electrifying powers. And during that film, some of the seats in the auditorium are charged. So when the guy controlling those seats and the charges pushes a button, people get shocked during the electrocution scenes, and so on and so forth. Very gimmicky, but very fun. And a lot of the effort and a lot of the wit that went into those fake movies is really fun. that whole just atmosphere of a sort of cheesy horror movie marathon where a horror movie is taking place around it and inside it, where a killer is picking people off one by one, is a really good, fun idea for a slasher movie. And they don't fully realize it. They don't fully they don't execute it to the links that they should have to fully realize that great plot, that great premise, that great setting. And you have a great cast in the movie as well. Again, Jill Sholin is great. She's great in everything in my book. You've got Dee Wallace in there as Jill Sholin's mother. She's not in the movie very much, but she's definitely a breath of fresh air whenever she is. The actor who played Toby did a really good job, I thought. There's a couple of other familiar faces that when you see him in the movie, you'll go, oh yeah, I know him from this or that, or oh yeah, I've seen him in other stuff. So you've got a pretty good cast. And the movie doesn't really take itself very seriously. And there's a lot of great moments with the killer, particularly toward the end of the movie where he's interacting with the audience watching the movies, that I thought was really well done and kind of entertaining. Kind of a unique killer without giving too much away. He's kind of like the guy from Fade to Black meets Leatherface a little bit, kinda. So you've got a really interesting setting, you've got a good cast, and you've got an entertaining killer. Now, where does the movie kind of go wrong? Again, it's all in the execution, and I think you can definitely tell that that the movie sort of changed hands at one point during the making of the movie, because there's definitely, I think, just from an overall filmmaking and cinematic quality, there is a noticeable change, particularly toward the end of the movie. The story gets really sort of convoluted. There's this whole backstory involving this this filmmaker, and he had a cult of people who followed him, and he was killed, and maybe he's back, and you don't know. There's kind of supernatural elements in the movie, and then they just abandon that, and then it is just a straightforward slasher movie. There's some tonal shifts. Most of the time the movie doesn't want you to take it too seriously, but then it does, and it wants you to take it really seriously a couple of times here and there, and it's just sort of, it just feels really uneven. There's a lot of kills in the movie, but there aren't any really good or memorable kills in the movie. The movie's very light, and I think the effects department, definitely in the blood department, in the second half of the movie, particularly toward the end, the villain's makeup looks pretty bad. Even on the poor quality DVD that I had, when you see this thing in sparkling 2K restoration, you will definitely notice those flaws toward the end of the movie, where the makeup just does not look very good, and it's just it almost looks like the makeup was just sort of halfway applied. Put it that way. It's like they just sort of gave up and just go shoot at it. But we're not done here, they said in the makeup room. We're good enough. Just go out there and let's shoot this puppy. It's kind of a messy movie. It's definitely a messy movie. Put it that way. And I think that has to do with the movie changing hands from one director to another, and from one lead actress to another. So Popcorn is really a mixed bag for me. There are some really good moments in the film. I love the premise. I love the idea of film students renting out an old theater and having a marathon of these old cheesy movies while a killer is on the loose, picking them all off one by one inside the theater. That's a great idea for a slasher movie. The execution, on the other hand, is a bit shaky, and you can definitely tell that this movie had some production problems. When it's going right, it's pretty fun, it's pretty entertaining, it's pretty tongue-in-cheek. When it's going wrong, it's kind of difficult to sit through. I'll put it that way. Overall, again, I'm mixed on the movie. I can definitely say now that going forward, I will have a much fresher memory of the movie, and my previous recollections of popcorn, which were totally negative, are changed now. It's a mixed bag. It is a fun movie. I do recommend it if you are a hardcore slasher movie fan. However, you may want to get your hands on one of the old crappy DVD releases of popcorn and screen it for yourself to see just how big a fan you are of popcorn before you shell out the money for the limited edition steelbook Blu-ray release from Synapse Films, because it is a bit pricey. If you're a fan of popcorn, please let me know in the comment section below. How hyped are you for this upcoming Blu-ray release from Synapse Films? Are you a lover of popcorn? Are you a hater of popcorn? Do you think it's a mixed bag like I do? Sound off in the comment section below. I'm really eager to hear what you guys have to say about the movie and where you stand. Are you part of the cult of popcorn, or are you not? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.